What's up everyone, Arctic here, bringing you guys a brand new Gears of War Judgment discussion video. This is pretty much the grand finale, my final assessment of the game. We're about 2 months out, and I have done 13 videos so far on Gears of War Judgment. 13. This will be the 14th. And the reason I'm making this so clear and apparent right up front is that I've gotten a lot of questions asking about things I've already covered. So what I've done is put all the videos in a playlist. You guys can check the description, click on that link in the playlist, and I've touched on everything that Epic has announced. If you've missed something, if you don't know that something is there, you'll see it there. Loadout System, everything. I've touched it all and have in-depth thoughts on all of it. Some of it you probably won't agree with, but they are there for your enjoyment. Now, with today, I basically want to give you guys my last impressions before the game comes out, and then we'll have new impressions. So this is like my last bit of playtesting feedback on what's been announced, what we can kind of expect, and then the concerns that I have with Gears of War Judgment. And I want to get this out and make this very clear before this game comes out. And then, 6 months from now, I'm saying the same thing. Alright, so let's talk about what's different with Gears of War Judgment. And I'm just going to quickly touch on this because, again, I've talked about this all in the past. There is a new control scheme. They've gotten rid of the old control scheme. No more legacy controls. No down but not out. That means that if you are down, you cannot be revived. You just flop over and die. Down but not out is still in campaign, and it is in overrun, sorta. It's a little bit different. You have to have your medic heal you. There is no stopping power, no active reload damage boost. There are no single elimination game types. This is a big one for me, is the elimination game types. I talked about this in my previous video, and I actually had Like Butter call us out. When I say us, the playtesters, as he kind of questioned why we wouldn't mention it to them. So first off, obviously he wasn't there, and he had no recollection of what we did while we were playtesting, and I just want to correct any misconception that he has or that anyone got from that video. First off, if you don't know anything about game development, game design, if you go to, let's say, a convention, let's say you're a studio and you go to PAX East or E3 and you want to demo something, you have your team work on a specific demo built for that event, and maybe you'll call it the PAX Prime demo while you're there. You perfect that before you go, and then what you see at your demo, as someone that's like a consumer or media, you're just playing whatever the studio whipped together for that demo. That's not the full version of the game. You don't even know what the full version of the game is. All they have is that, and that's what you see. So we went to a play test, and I work in game development, and I had no idea what build of the game we were playing. Obviously, it wasn't the full game. People Can Fly has the campaign. We didn't see anything about the campaign there. We didn't even see all the game types. Nothing was finalized, okay? And I kind of joked, and I always do this with Quinn, about single elimination game types. One in particular is the bomb game type. And I never got like he never gives me a solid response where I can actually take it seriously. So it's always like, hey, when are you going to implement that bomb game type? He's like, when are you going to buy me a car? And it's like, it's joking banner, but we kind of mentioned single elimination game type, some of the people there, but we had no idea what build of the game we were playing. We had no idea if they just wanted to show us new stuff. They told us our schedule. We followed that schedule. That was what we provided feedback on. Again, a couple people questioned it, but it wasn't like we just sat there and were like, wow. I personally, I was like, well, if this is all the game, that's kind of surprising, but we didn't say anything about, hey, this looks extra light, because it's a playtest. You don't know what you're going to expect. You don't know what build of the game it is, but people did ask about it. All right, so that's on the single elimination game types. I think it's a big mistake. Honestly, I'm really surprised that they're not having those at launch, but maybe they'll have it for DLC. Gonna get on that here in a bit. They also have a new loadout system. Now, with the loadout system, they're getting rid of being able to choose a primary rifle and a primary shotgun. You can now just choose one primary weapon. Your secondary is always the snub pistol, and the grenades can now be chosen. So With the primary weapons, you can choose between the Marxa, Hammer Burst, the Classic Hammer Burst, the Lancer, the Retro Lancer, the Sawed-Off, and the Gnasher. The two new ones there, the Classic Hammer Burst, not really new, it was in Gears of War 1, so it's making a return. The Marxa is kind of like the replacement for the Boltok, except it's in sniper form. It's a really interesting weapon. I think a lot of people will kind of like it. I talked about it in a separate video. Secondary, again, snap pistol. Grenades, you can choose between 5. You have the frag grenades, the ink grenade, smoke grenades, stem grenade, or the spot grenades. Incendiaries are still in the game, but they are now power weapons. I have no idea why that decision was made. Maybe they said to themselves, okay, we can't quite balance this to make it a one that you can select, so let's throw it on power weapons. So that's my only, I guess of why they actually did that. It's a question that I've kind of pondered. Why not have that as the 6th? It's kind of weird, but hey, whatever. And that's pretty much it in terms of new, taken away, all that stuff, content. Now, gameplay wise, I felt that the game played pretty well in terms of movement, speed. It does feel a lot faster. Once you die, and I mentioned this in my first assessment, not having DB&O and playing Gears of War kind of throws you off, but after your first couple deaths, you kind of get used to it. But on the movement side, I really feel like Judgment wasn't as sticky, and I felt like Gears of War 3 made leaps and bounds improvement from Gears of War 2 in terms of movement, and Gears of War 1. Each iteration of the game has been better. Judgment feels a lot tighter for the controls. Obviously, that new control scheme is definitely, I guess, has something to do with that, how good the controls feel. But my wall bouncing, I play alternate, felt fantastic. I did not play default at all, so I have no idea what default feels like. Hit up Gold Glove, hit up Skyless, hit up someone else that went to the playtest that played default, and they can tell you how it feels. I don't know. Now with weapon balance and stuff, I can't talk about this because, quite frankly, I have no idea what the weapon balance is going to be like when the game launches. We played it in October, and I know they've made changes across the board on all the weapons and little tweaks. So if I say something, I could be the dick. You guys could be expecting something on launch, and it's not going to be like that. So I have no idea what the weapon balance is going to feel like. Everything felt okay. There were some things that we found that were some issues, but I'm pretty sure I can't say what they were until the game comes out. But, there's definitely, that's one of my major concerns. It's going to be balance. This is a new system that they're using, and once you give tens of thousands of people access to your game, there's going to be issues. And this probably brings me to my biggest concern with Gears of War Judgment, and it is whether or not Epic is going to support this game. Now, you can argue that, yeah, they kind of supported Gears of War 3. They gave us, I think, 4 DLCs, added a spectator mode. But at the 6-month mark, they were done. They were like, oh, we're not working on this. They'll give you some event playlists, but they don't care about balance. They're not trying to fix any bugs. They feel like that is the game that you're going to play from now until whenever you stop playing it. They're not going to make any fixes. So, if Gears of War 3 is any indication of what type of plans they're going to have for DLC and patching and post-game content, I'm really concerned, because 6 months after that, we might be looking at a new Gears of War title, maybe on the Xbox new system or the PlayStation new system or PC, whatever, but that's like years from now. Unless they got some crazy development cycle where they're already working on it and they're pumping it out. So we might not be looking at a new Gears maybe 3-4 years. I hope they spend that much time on new Gears. But if that's the case and Judgment is it, 6 months comes around, we're not getting any new DLC, we're not getting any new patches, they're not working on the game, I'm going to feel cheated. And you should feel cheated too, because there's still issues with Gears of War 3. Mantle Kick is still broken. They've confirmed that they're not taking it out because they feel like the gameplay without it loses an element. And I kind of agree. The Mantle Kick brought a new dynamic, but it's broken. And they said most of the issues relate to latency. Okay, well, look at the netcode. See how you can figure it out. Give us something. Don't just give us the same thing and be like, we can't fix it at all, and it's just going to stay the same in Judgment. a year down the road I'm going to be playing the Gears of War 3 Mantle Kick and Judgment. That's kind of sliding your fan base there. The other thing is content. We got, I think, 25 maps in Gears of War 3, and once we purchased the season pass and that 4th DLC rolled around, no more new content. That's, I hope that we get some new maps and stuff. I'm happy with 25 maps. That's fine. I think where I'm kind of going with that is the longevity of the game. There's only 3 multiplayer game types. Only 3. And traditional, you have free-for-all, TDM, domination. Things are going to get old quick. And don't get me wrong, I loved King. I played the crap out of Team Deathmatch. I played that a whole lot. But I also played Execution. I also played Capture the Leader. I also played Guardian. I also played Wingman. I also played Brothers to the End. They're not there. And some of that stuff didn't need to be there because they had too many playlists on Gears of War 3. But the fact that there's not any for Gears Judgment kind of makes it get stale faster. And Overrun is phenomenal. Don't get me wrong, but if there's no new content in Overrun 6 months after the game comes out, it's going to be the same thing. So I sincerely hope that Epic is really considering taking user feedback, listening to what people are talking about with balance tweaks, and they continue to tweak the game. I know it costs money each time you patch something on Xbox. I know the issues with that stuff, certification, all that crap. I know. I get it. Don't get me wrong. I get it. I don't want to pay a ton of money as a developer to continue patching things. If you guys don't know the story, check Fez. Check out Fez. You guys will see what I'm talking about. But I really hope that they consider what they did with Gears of War 3 and look at that and be like, man, we kind of shit on them. We kind of just left them with this 6 months down the road, and then we worked on a new game. Are you going to do that with Judgment? Are you going to be like, okay, we're done with Judgment, let's work on Fortnite. Let's finish up Fortnite. Oh, no, let's work on Gears of War 4 on the new Xbox, PS3, PC. We're done with Judgment. What they see is what they get, and that's all they're going to play. So that is my major concern with Gears of War Judgment. The fact that it's so multiplayer light, and that the content pattern that they have for Gears of War 3, if that carries over, we're not going to see a new game type. We're not going to see anything new after the 6 month mark. So I really hope that they rectify that problem and they continue to support the game up until the new whatever is announced that is going to replace Gears of War as a franchise, or they continue it to continue Gears of War the franchise. So that's it for my multiplayer assessment. In a nutshell, lots of changes. Most of them are pretty good. You just got to give the game a chance. I'm going to talk about some comparisons to Call of Duty in a separate video, but that's it. Game is good. It's definitely not Gears of War 2 out of the bag. It's going to play pretty well, but those changes are pretty jarring, and it's going to throw off some people. So hope you guys enjoyed this, and until the next time, guys, I will catch you later. Peace. Do I really have to say it? Really? Do I really? Alright. If you enjoyed my video, make sure to like and subscribe. While you're at it, check out my previous video.